Based on their investigation, they arrested and detained 4 persons. Yakpawolo, Moisema, Aaron, Koli, Lamini, and other guy, Emmanuel, were among the people who were detained. There were about 4 of them. They were initially kept at some cell, all right? Then on the 6th of January, they were removed. There were 2, Lamini, Flomo, and Yakpawolo, Moisema were removed and carried to the police depot cell, plus or minus, because I'm speaking extemporaneously. On the 6th January 6, while the guy was doing his routine investigation, it is alleged that the remains of Yakpawolo was found hanging. He was rushed to Telewarian Hospital, where he was declared dead. So, consistent with Chapter 7 of our Constitution, that will constitute a suspicious death. So, based on that, we're asked to come and do a full investigation, is to find the scientific cause of death. If for any reason, and I say if, he was like killed or murdered by anybody, the autopsy will not be able to establish that. So he was found hanging. So as I informed the superintendent, the first step is going to be to go to the crime scene, where Moisema and the other 4 guys were held firstly, and the second place where he was transferred and where he was found hanging. All right. So the autopsy will be able to also establish whether he was alive when he was hanged. Whether he was alive before that hanging occurred, or whether he was dead before the hanging occurred. So there are a lot of other. We are neutral people. We understand and we work for everybody. We are working for the deceased. We want the family to get closure, to know exactly what happened. All right, that's why we are here. The work we do, and I've been into this for more than a decade, it attracts a lot of anger. And sometimes that anger, get displaced on us, it get displaced on other people, which is rightly so, because it's centered around the loss of human life. This guy was only 19 years old. All right, he had a whole future line ahead of him. So his death at the age of 19, under the circumstances, under our law, is suspicious. But when the scientific work is done, and it's going to be an open process, we're going to have representatives from the family, as many as we can. If there are accused persons, we'll have them represented in the theater. As the findings are coming up, everybody will see it. We want the press to also be there to see it. And the goal is that at the end of it, we want people to have closure. So long ago, when autopsies were done, nobody was allowed to go in. When we came, we opened it up. All the autopsies we have done, we allow. Also, before we go, the people that will be allowed to go into the dissection area, we would not be allowed to take pictures. Cameras will not be allowed. The reason is that the privacy of Moisema has to be respected. We don't want a situation where people will take that in court. So we don't want that to be prejudiced by someone putting something up on Facebook and writing things on it. So those are some of the ground rules that we laid. We'll reinforce that before we start the dissection. So I will pause and take questions from the media, from the family. Anyone who has questions for me, you can ask. Yes.
For example, you go on the road, you go see somebody unconscious. And Papa Kupe Mayango Bao from Dogoma. You met somebody unconscious. Where do you carry the person first?
Okay. I can take 2 or 3 questions and just answer them.
So let me ask.
Yes, another question.
I will take 3.
Yes, I have a question. Once more, my name is Hira Devikeva, RN, representing the Dogoma family. So my question here is it the pathology that announced the cause of death or the Justice Ministry?
All right, thank you so much. My name is James Nkoi from Radio Wolabizi. I'm concerned how long it will take after your work for you to release your result.
All right, thank you. So I will take the first question from my brother there. So traditionally, and this is common sense, when people are found unconscious, the first rational place, and I'd say rational place, all right? Like if we are thinking straight and doing things rightly, the first place to take them will be the hospital, all right? So hopefully that answers your question. The next question about the timing of, about who will announce the cause of death. That was your question, right? Yes. So the cause of death will be determined by us. But under our law, cases of suspicious death are considered felony, murder, homicide, or whatsoever. The Ministry of Justice is considered a crime against the state. So if someone rapes someone, it's a crime against the state under the law. If you kill your own child, all right, you can't say that my child, I kill him. It is a crime against the state. So the Ministry of Justice under our law is the one that persecutes people who commit the crimes. So that is why when the information is gathered, we send it over to the Ministry of Justice, and they are the one who will do the persecution. Hope that answers your question. Okay, question from you about how long it would take. So traditionally, it would take at least, and I'm using my word consciously, at least 14 days, 2 weeks. The reason being that we'll do observation. So we have the history as to what really happened. We'll go and do observations. We'll do dissections. We'll take some samples from the deceased. All right. So if there are wounds on the body, we'll take some samples from there. We will also take, depending, because I'm sure he's embalmed now, that will be a little bit of a complication. We'll take samples from within him, all right, to establish whether he was poisoned, for example. So those samples that we're going to take from his stomach, his liver, his kidney, and other places will be sent out of the country for toxicology. So if there was a poison inside him, they will be able to establish that. Just a second. So because of all of that, it takes a little bit of time for the report to come. It will take at least 14 days. It could be more. Sometime immediately after that, depending on how the findings are, we can give a preliminary report. All right. So we'll see whether that will be the case with this one. All right. So basically, it takes at least 14 days. So if I say at least 14 days, it means that what it could be more than 14 days. So sometimes that misunderstanding comes. So the doctor said 14 days. The 2 weeks have passed. We have not seen reports. It will take at least 14 days. Reason being that the other factors that occur in country, we have control over that. But once we send the sample out to reference lab out of the country, it takes time for them to do the analysis because it's going to be a comprehensive report. We'll take more questions.
Yes, I'm Francis Bao, one of the grandfathers to the late Yakpawolo Moisema. I live in Vonjama, and at the time, Yakpawolo Moisema was allegedly hanged or murdered at the police cells in Vonjama. I was called and I was on the scene, and that which, of course, I did some photograph and recording, video recording. At the time, the doctor was doing an examination. That's which I have then in my possession and I share with other people. Yes, sir, Chief. We want to say thank you for coming on behalf of the family. In most cases, when somebody is killed or murdered or died unsuspiciously, we see that the county attorney sent the coroner, and the coroner is there. He established juror to go through the examination of this body, whether the person is unconscious or dead. And if this person is dead, they will come up with a ruling that the man is dead or this person is dead, and they go about to do their thing. But in the case of Yakpawolo Moisema, when the doctor did his test, and as family and also as an action committee member seeking for justice in Lofa County. Secondly, the body of Yakpawolo Moisema was carried from the police barrack straight to the mortuary. This body did not rest at the ER, where the doctor should have done examination on him, if as to whether he was murdered or he still had left in him. As the police commander went on earlier saying on Kintoma radio that morning that he met Yakpawolo Moisema lying unconscious. And he was the same man that told the doctor that send the man is dead, take him to Terwell, we don't keep body here. I'm surprised of he putting that into his report that Yakpawolo Moisema was met lying on the floor unconscious, and he was asked the doctors to take the man to Trawea for examination, and that which they did stop to the ER, they took him straight to the mortuary where he is expected to be at this time. And then, thirdly, the police of Lofa County, the Liberia National Police of Lofa County, in connection, allegedly, or as tends to be corrected, in connection with the Lofa County local governor, they did the embalmment on Yakpawolo Moisema right after the body was taken to Telewea. I think it was the next day or early morning that they did the embalmment on Yakpawolo Moisema. With the embalmment in which the police and that of the county authority did on our grandchild body, up to now the family is not aware. We were not consulted. They went on to embalm this poor body without consulting us as a family member. That, of course, we look at it to be fishy. And then besides, the reason why we said the body will not be buried from the 6th up to present is some of those things that we saw on the poor body, those wounds that we saw on his throat, on his neck. We feel that he was joked, he was poisoned. This boy was not killed or he didn't die by allegedly hanging himself. We as family member and the action committee member for seeking for justice in Lofa County, we say allegedly our grandchild, our son was murdered within the protection under the watch eyes of the Liberia National Police, that which it was their responsibility. The left of Yakpawolo Moisema was given to the police alive, only to call us on the sake that the boy committed suicide. And those marks that we saw on him, where his legs and all are resting on the floor, his feet are all bent, and coming to his stroke, there is no tongue shooting at all. And the way how his neck condition is like, we feel that his neck was broken and he was poisoned, he was killed even. All of the compound, all of the police barrack compound, allegedly taken to the police barrack for hanging. Because, reason of me saying that the other men who are in the cells opposite Yakpawolo Moisema, we asked him, he said he heard no sound, like somebody is crying or breathing while those particular, or when you are hanging himself. And in that particular person, you will not see any chair or table that will say that this guy stood on to elevate his height, that after hanging himself, he could jump down, and from there the rope was going to choke him and he could die from it. There was nothing that I suspected. And we are with the feeling that the police and the local authority went on to embalm Yakpawolo Moisema body without consulting the family because they wanted to destroy evidence. That is the murderer of Yakpawolo Moisema, allegedly the murderer of Yakpawolo Moisema, may have used chemical to kill Yakpawolo Moisema or to poison Yakpawolo Moisema. That was the reason why they went earlier by informing the embalmer to go and embalm Yakpawolo Moisema with us, consulting us because they wanted to destroy evidence. So that when you come as a pathologist, you will not identify the type of chemical that was used on Yakpawolo Moisema while you are left that brought you to that stage and comparing with what the embalmer has done. So I will stop so far. I tell you thank you and thank the entire team here, the press. I say thank you for coming, and I know with the trust of God, you will do what you are sent for. So wrong God is above all of us. Thank you.
Taking him to the hospital. All right. So I like to make that also clear for you to know that it may not have been a big offense for them to have taken him to the morgue once he was declared dead at the crime scene. The other thing I want you to know is that I agree with you totally. May sometimes interfere if there were issues with poisoning. All right. I agree with you totally. But then, if he was not embalmed, so usually when people die, we keep them in the freezer. That's the best way to keep them. But I'm not sure that we have such a freezer in Vonjama district or even in Vonjama hospital. So in order to preserve the evidence, because sometimes even in Egypt, the kings that died, the pharaohs, up to now, their bodies are still there. So the formal laying and embalmment is a form of preservation. So that may not be as hurtful as you see it. As to whether they should have informed the family or not, again, I want to refer you to Chapter 7 of our Constitution. Because his case was a suspicious death, that remains right now is considered evidence. It's considered evidence of an alleged crime. So based on that, it doesn't belong to the family at this point. When the investigation is completed and I gave the green light, the body will be turned on. We should not come to conclusions that is not based on fact. So if my phone got missing here, you can't say that, they are.
And you call me that the man hung himself in the prison. And then the county attorney and the rest of the people who were responsible for such a thing were responsible for it. I didn't even know how the environment was done. I don't know which chemical to use. The only thing I got to know was that when they called me that the body was trying to be decayed. So again, the county attorney again have to speak with the justice ministry to do what they could do to preserve the body. So county local administration as superintendent office were never involved with that process. So that's what we know about. I'll call you.
Any other questions?
I just wanted to speak on his clarity.
No, I mean,
the name allegedly
okay.
was sponsored by the police and that of the county authority.
So it's
because yes, in one of our meetings in the same office,
So clarify that.
it was in our meeting in one of our in the same office. They were asked the environment told them that the ball is the condition in which the medicine in which they use on this ball, it is about finishing. So they need some more money to continue the work. So if you see me saying that this are being sponsored allegedly by the police and the county authority, is that because it was said in this meeting and he's the supervisor or he's the superintendent. That's what I said. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Yes.
Yeah, my question is to the family. My name is James Nkoli. My question is to the family. Are you going to be certified with the result after the autopsy has been conducted?
Okay. So if there are no questions,
Next step.
the next step. So the next step is where the bodies are the morgue, right? So we will take the team to the morgue to be offloading the things. Then we want to see the crime scene, where he was before and where the alleged hanging occurred. Okay? Then, sir, I will give you my number now, so you can forward those things to me. Are you able to do that?
So there's a meeting here that you heard.
So there is a report from the police program. Okay. But what is important is after we did the look at it, I was scared.
Also, I think he did mention of setting up the thing that will be going to assignment.
Yeah, okay, we'll take it. So who are do that with it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we look at it, thing.
Yeah, so basically the media will be allowed in, and maybe 4 members of the family, if they are accused persons, 4 members on the accused person, depending on the space that is in the place where we're going to be working. But we want as much openness as possible. Like, my brother said there are things on him. I'm really interested in you telling us, and everybody will be there. It's going to be an open process. All right, so then the security forces definitely, civil society organizations.
4 person or 2 person.
Yeah.
He said 4. So that will be there because the police is part of this case, right?
Yes, sir.
So that will be there. Civil society, you will be there. 2 commissioners, that will be there, right?
Yeah.
2 commissioners and the press.
Thank you, sir.
The little mayor. DA. So there are 4 right there. 2 police.
3.
Okay, 3.
So.
2 police. You want to be there too? The governor? Governor will be there. The 2 commissioners.
So what's the full name?
Francis
Look, I'll give it to you.
Is Voice of Lofa, and of course we here in Vonjama. Today is Saturday, matter of fact. And what we've been told is that today the pathologist is already in county, and we have a series of engagement with the family of the late Yakpawolo Moisema. The most talk about event that you've been hearing in the county with regard to the death of Yakpawolo Moisema. So today we're going to dive into all of the activities. As we've been told, currently we are headed to the crime scene where the crime occurred. Thereafter, we'll be going to the hospital for further activities that which is ahead of us. So all we have to tell you is to keep posted, keep following us, keep sharing the video, and of course keep posted today. On this day today, we will give you all of the latest updates with regard to the final conclusion aspect of the late Yakpawolo Moisema, as the pathologist has already arrived in county. So we are headed to the crime scene. Keep posted. We will bring you the live coverage of all of the events or all of the activities if the network permit us, that which we're going to do everything possible for you to be informed. Our people who out there and like to know exactly what's happening, how it's being concluded, is what we are offered today. And of course, we're going to do everything possible to bring you the latest happening regarding this issues. So thank you so much. Thank you much for being here. My name is Jeremiah Devil. We getting to the crime scene that which we're going to be bringing you all of the happiness this morning. Keep posted. Keep sharing the video, and of course we will give you all of the information that you deserve as we are right now heading to the crime scene.